Yo, welcome to another edition of the Geekers podcast. I'm your host, Steve, and I'm back with my partners in the Chevy. We driving down Tichamala. What is it? Tichamala? Tullahoma. We driving around, however you want to call it.
Yeah.
I know we headed towards Popular. That's all I'm gonna say.
Not a dang. Nowhere near Popular.
Oh, my bad. Well, you know who ain't from Memphis. My
That's
bad,
on
y'all.
Shelby Drive. You might come down Shelby Drive across Tullahoma right there.
Hey, I just like saying Popular. I love it. Popular. Hey.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, we are back. We're here. We are happy to be here to give y'all another episode of the Geekers podcast, the podcast that I know you all love. Yo, man, we are here with an episode, man. This week's episode, we are focusing on giving people their flowers while they're here. Yeah. Just simple as that.
Yep.
Giving people their flowers while they're here. And we got a great topic for you. We're going to go down a couple roads and we're going to bring it all together. But also, we also going to be bringing you, hey, your favorite segments. Your favorite segments with G, what's in your speakers? And then with Tommy T, what's the T for the week? All the news, as we say. So without further ado, please go back and check out last week's episode. And also, while you're there, you can subscribe so you never miss another episode. And then if you find us on YouTube, hit that bell. It says subscribe as well so that you don't miss anything that we are doing. So without further ado, let's get into it, man. How y'all week been?
Good.
It's been fire.
It's been a good week, man. It's really been a good week.
MK came out, man.
I ain't see it. Shut up.
I ain't say less. I ain't gonna say no more. I ain't say no more.
Yo,
I watched it twice already. So
hey, that's good news. That's good. That's what I needed to hear. Yeah,
I've only watched it once, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Me and Tommy T already had our discussion on the phone. After it, and we didn't finish our discussion, so we'll eventually get to it at some point.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually do a review and upload it to YouTube.
Yeah.
My thoughts. So
that's what's up, man. Because I saw a lot of mixed reviews, man. I saw a lot of people saying, like, some people saying they didn't like it, some people saying they really liked it. And so I was like, damn, bro, what's the consensus for real? If I got
it's really opposites, it's really upon yourself.
Yeah,
because even with me and Steve talking about it, we had two different views, but I understood, like, I understand where the views come from, So
yeah.
But we didn't say that we didn't like it. No, we just had some. Now we had some same thoughts, and we was like, and but we are, we're like Mortal Kombat, like
right.
It's for real. Yeah. So you do something off, and we're like, the fuck is that? like, what is going on here?
Right.
But nevertheless, man, I still give it thumbs up. Like we thought it would be. The CGI is amazing.
Sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They definitely brought to life.
Looking forward to that.
So we'll love to have G's input. Hey, maybe next week's episode.
We can talk about it. I will definitely have seen it by then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Awesome.
I might even see that jump today. Depending on how my schedule do.
I'm definitely gonna watch it again. So probably gonna watch it again today.
Did anybody catch UFC fight last night?
No, but I seen the results, man.
Hey,
Did somebody break their leg or something?
Woo.
Yeah,
Chris
Weidman said that. Yeah.
Chris Weidman broke his leg. First kick he threw in the fight. Actually, the first probably anything that was thrown in the fight that he was in. It was Chris Weidman versus and I don't want to mess up his name, Uriah Hall. So the weird thing about it is this has actually happened twice. Yeah, and he has been in. Yeah, see, he was fighting Anderson Silva, and Anderson Silva threw a kick and broke his leg. And now Chris Weidman threw a kick towards Uriah Hall and broke his leg. So it was like really eerie type of deal that happened. So nah, man, it was a great event. I'm a big UFC guy, a big fight guy, period. So I ordered the fight last night. From the beginning to the end, nothing went past 2 rounds. it was a lot of it was a great fight night. I mean, it was a weird one though, like the leg breaking, and then the very first fight on not the prelims but of the main card, Anthony Smith threw this kick and pretty much kicked this guy's nerve up. I don't know what, but his leg would not work anymore. At least in the fight, he couldn't stand on it. He could barely walk on it. And so he had to be rushed to the hospital. Well, Anthony Smith is fine, but I forgot the other guy's name. Sorry. But his leg he pretty much couldn't walk on it. So like that, and then you go into a leg breaking off of a kick being thrown. It was an eerie moment. And then you go into the next fight with Shevchenko and Jessica Andrade. And that was a amazing fight. But Shevchenko she's just amazing. And then you go on to Thug Rose. Rose Namajunas. I know I just messed up her last name.
Yeah, you tried to say it real fast.
He tried to just roll through that.
But I love Rose. I really do. Her versus Weili. She's amazing too, but goodness gracious, she took this kick to the neck. She was out. First round. So yeah. Thug Rose a champ once again in the strawweight division. And then, man, we got on to the main event where, second round. That punch from Usman to Masvidal. Boy, you just saw the sweat come off his head and he was out. And the crazy thing is that's the first time Masvidal's ever been knocked out.
Really?
Like he's never been knocked out. So that was amazing.
That's the dude that used to be in them little street fights.
Yeah, Masvidal. Yeah, absolutely. But he's been doing his thing in the UFC for a long time. He's never. Well, he won the BMF belt, but I don't really know. We don't really count that belt as a real belt, but it's cool. But I mean, Masvidal ain't nobody to sneeze at. So
right.
He's a very dangerous individual, but Usman is he's a monster, man. He's a monster. And man, he threw this punch and it was lights out. It was lights out. I was like,
I saw the video footage of that. I did see that.
Being the first person to knock out someone, that shows you that's a lot in itself, if you've never been like knocked out in a fight. Yeah. So, but here we are today. So I'm ready. I can't wait to have fight parties again. Because it was just me and my son here yelling at the TV. And then I have to make a phone call. And then my wife is like, Keena's on the couch like, oh, what happened? And I'm like, you didn't see this? She calls some and be like, oh, okay. And then there's others where she's like, okay, what happened? We'd be like, oh, okay. So, yeah.
So you're really into that fight stuff. I don't know, man. I'm just not into it like that. But that breaking leg stuff, man, I feel him on that. I broke my leg. Steve,
for real?
Yeah. I broke my leg like in football practice, man. We was practicing in the gym, jumped in the air, catch a ball, came down, leg just snapped in two, man.
Damn.
Tibia and the fibula. Now I got a rod in my leg, man. It's all good.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. It just broke when you landed?
It snapped in two.
Damn.
And then, so the thing was, everybody was like, well, did you land wrong? No. Because if I was landing wrong, my ankle would have been messed up somehow. But I always tell people, man, I jumped so high, man, when I came down, my leg just broke. It was such a powerful jump, man.
God, that's just crazy, bro.
That shit is wild, man.
It's crazy you say that, man. I was hooping the other day and just like shooting around and shit, and I went up and dunked the ball and came down. And on the way down, I just knew, I was like, bro, this don't even feel like it used to. So when I landed like so hard when I landed on the ground, like I ain't messed nothing up or anything, but just like the impact of hitting the ground felt totally different than it used to feel. Like I was like, oh, okay. I was like, so you dropping like a rock now. Like this ain't that light shit where I used to just jump and then barely touch the ground and keep moving. This is like a thud. And so I was like, bro, I don't know if I'm gonna be taking too many dunk attempts no more. If I fuck around and turn my ankle or something, it's over.
It's a done deal.
Over, bro. Like I saw it in my head. I was like, bro, it's over. It's over. You gonna be crawling to your phone trying to get out to come pick your ass up. You ain't got time. Like, man. Just take the layup, nigga. Just take the fucking layup.
Shoot the J.
Man, shoot the J, bro. It's not worth it. You're not finna be walking around this motherfucker on crutches or in a wheelchair and shit. You ain't got time.
Man, can you imagine trying to explain that to Allison and then she having to explain that to somebody else?
Man, she would have been so mad, bro. Man. Like, what the hell is wrong with
you? Picture of being out with a girl that's like, I got to leave. My
Greg broke his ankle.
First day, everybody, how?
Girl, I'll explain later. I gotta go.
Man, what?
I just gotta get up from my girls' day out to go get him because he want to play basketball and break his ankle.
Yeah, that's how she gonna probably say it. He in there acting breaking his ankle and shit.
I remember I broke my ankle. I broke my ankle in school. We both broke our legs of some sort in school, but it was middle school and we was wrestling in the classroom. And like my homeboy, he stepped back on my foot as I was falling. So picture me fall as my foot is stationary and snap. Yeah. So it's like, oh hell. So we had a substitute too. And
that was a terrible day for that person.
Oh yeah, it definitely were. And so they had to come the ambulance had to come get me from the school. A nice little ambulance ride, and I remember getting to the hospital, and they gotta had to put it back in place. Yeah. So they put me on a sleeping medicine. So I you fall asleep like you should. The crazy thing is I don't know why, but I could still hear them talking. So I guess I wasn't fully under.
Yeah.
All I know was I heard them say, "Okay, we got to snap it back in place." And I go, "No!" And I know it was like probably the male nurses holding me down at the same time, but yeah. And someday after they snapped it back in place, I just kind of went back to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
damn,
never broke it again. It's fine.
I broke my wrist when I was in the second grade, but I ain't never broke nothing on my legs. I done twisted my ankle a billion times and popped that motherfucker quite a few times, but I broke my wrist playing on the monkey bars as a kid and jumped from like the little bridge thing to the monkey bars.
Yeah, missed
and
it.
Like I grabbed with one hand, but the other one fell off. I twisted and snapped that motherfucker. Hit the ground, looked over, and my hand was backwards. Yeah. And I was like, see, this is that bullshit.
Yes.
Like, as a second grader, all I could do was scream, bro. Yeah. All I could do was scream.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like, how, bro? Like, what the fuck just happened? And it was like, I had just done it like 3 or 4 times, so I felt confident. And I had just asked my mama to watch. I was like, Mama, look at this. And she looked and she saw the whole thing. And she was just like, she had that same little Allison moment that y'all was talking about. Like, this nigga that broke his damn arm. I know she was probably mad as hell, bro.
Yeah, because you got to stop everything. Your plan is not to go to the hospital.
Right. No. You got to, everything must stop and you got to go. Yeah, like, bro, the crazy part about mine was it was the first practice. It was the first, beginning of the summer practice. Like, I broke my leg at the, I want to say the end of May.
Damn.
Right. So the whole, bro, it was my junior, I was going into my junior year, and the whole summer, I was leg broke.
Damn,
I was like,
the whole summer, man.
The whole summer, bro. Like, by the time school started back, that's when I first started, like, learning back how to walk and stuff like that. Because I never had to get a boot or anything.
Oh, okay.
It was like it broke, and then I had to have like they tried to put it back together, and then I had to have surgery to get the rod put in my leg, and then it just needed to heal.
Yeah.
And so like I had forgot how to walk.
Damn.
Straight like without crutches, I completely forgot how to walk. And my grandma, she was like, "You have to walk." So she was like, "You have to get up and try." And like when I figured out I can put pressure on my leg and stuff like that, we started. She was like, "Well, just use one crutch." Okay.
She got your ass a cane like Franklin Saint.
Bruh. Did you see the last episode?
I seen it. I seen it. Bro, I was like, how long has this nigga been playing these folks?
I've been wondering too. The first thing I thought about was damn Kaiser Sose on the movie where he walks outside the police station and just start walking normal, gets in the car, and then they finally figure out like he's the motherfucking like he is the actual person we've been looking for, and he drives off into the sunset. Oh yeah, man, that was a great episode. Bro. I gotta go back and watch because there was some bits and pieces that I missed. Like
awesome episode, man.
Yeah, yes. Like Frank,
he be playing the fuck.
He killed Franklin Dad, right?
I think they didn't show him that. They didn't show him. I think he did.
Okay, so I didn't miss it.
He definitely had that nigga cornered.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he came in like
right he after nowhere to go.
So I didn't miss because I was looking at it and then I walked away once I came back and then I was like, oh shit, did he kill him? Because I know he came in the room, he had the gun, he was like, oh, those go in like this. That was a new start. I was like, damn. It's kind of fucked up. When I understood it, but at the same time, I was like, damn, they gonna have to kill his ass. He should have shut his mouth. Shit.
Yeah, he should have. He was fucking everything up. Man, the reporter like
trying to live his Black Panther days.
Bruh. Yeah. But the crazy part is, man, that's not an exaggerated story.
No.
Between the girl, the lady reporter, like a male reporter was actually like died after a report in the newspaper came out that he wrote back then, man. I was like, I don't know where I saw this from, and I'll look it up sometime this week and share it in the Slack, but I was like, okay, I see where this is going.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like a lot of that stuff. Like you gotta understand, the idea comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
And if you thinking
it's
they
truth somewhere in there.
Yeah, if you thinking they ain't gonna mess you up for opening your mouth about something you really don't need to be opening up, then yeah. So I don't know what's gonna happen from here. I'm pretty interested.
I'm super interested after that Kane scene. I'm like, this nigga is ahead of niggas.
I always knew he was ahead, but he's like light years. So, but yeah, man, just in case y'all don't know what we're talking about Snowfall. So yes, we did go into breaking legs into Snowfall. So a great segue. And I think it's about that time, man.
We ain't gonna never get into the episode, bro. Let's go and get into this What's in Your Sneakers. Let's see what the hell we've been listening to since we know what we've been watching.
Absolutely.
Man, okay. So this week, we had a couple of things came out this week. So I got a chance to check out some of them because normally I don't get to check out the new music. I be stuck somewhere. But one of the songs that came out, Her dropped a song with Chris Brown called Come Through. I thought that shit was bumping, bro. Like I played that joint several times. It's pretty good.
I had to listen to it. Yeah.
Then Smoke Dizza dropped a track with Dom Kennedy called No Regrets. It looked like it's off an upcoming album. I'm not sure what that album is called. The Hustlers Catalog 2 is what it's called, but it's not out yet. But that's a cool track, so I'm looking forward to the album coming out. I don't know who Jeezy Escobar is, but Jeezy Escobar and Fujiano dropped a tape. It's called Backwood Boys. Yeah, Backwood Boys. And so I listened to some of that. I didn't get a chance to finish it. I got through like maybe half of it. From what I heard, it was straight. And then I got a chance to listen to Cordae dropped a EP. It's like 4 songs, and it's called, what's the name of it? called Just Until ... And it's just like 4 tracks. He got a song on there with Q-Tip, one with Young Thug, and then the other 2, it's just him on there. But I think these are just like some throwaways from an upcoming album that he got coming out. And these sound pretty good, so I'm like, all right, let's see how this gonna turn out for the album. And then I got into Moneybagg Yo, his new album. What's it called? Gangsta's Pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get all the way through it because I had some shit to do yesterday. But I got through like the first few songs, and then like right now, my favorite song on there is Waukesha, which is like an ode to, I guess, Drake, just Purple Drake, goddammit. But I really like that one because I can't remember what the sample is in that song. What the fuck is the sample in that song?
Damn, it's from the 90s, bro.
Jay-Z did it as well.
It's oh shit. First of all, it has the sample from the Lil Wayne interview about like what's in his cup. So that's on there first, and then it has the I don't know what the original sample is. I keep thinking Biggie because it's Biggie.
It's One More Chance.
Chance. What the fuck is the original sample for that?
I don't know what the original sample is, but yeah.
Yeah, but I really like that Jay. He sounds good on that Jay, bro. Like Moneybagg Yo sound good on that Jay. One thing that I picked up from this album so far is first of all, it just some of the beats sound a little different from what I normally hear from Moneybagg Yo. And that's one of the ones that sounds a little different. And I'm like interested now because I'm like, get this nigga on some more different types of beats so I can hear what this man can do. Because I'm used to hearing him on kind of the same kind of sound. And I'm like, I like that a lot. But at the same time, I want to hear what he can do on some of these other beats. Because that shit surprised me. It definitely surprised me. Outside of that, I listened to a couple songs. Stay With Me, yes. Fucking El DeBarge, ain't it?
Yeah, DeBarge, yeah.
There you go. So I listened to a couple songs from Maxo Cream. One of them called Beyonce, the other one called Work. Work is still my track. I like to listen to that shit when I'm like trying to get something done. I listened to a Currency song called 16 Switches. It's off his album, This Ain't No Mixtape. That's the coolest fucking artwork in the world, bro. Like the This Ain't No Mixtape artwork. It's like like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to send that junk. That junk cool as hell. And then I got into Touch the Sky, Kanye West featuring Lupe Fiasco. And them fucking horns. Always nice. I always like this shit. And then I listened to homie back from Memphis. His name Junior. And it's spelled JUN10R. So he got a song called Don't Even with my homie C Stiller. That jump up, bro. I'm gonna have to send that to y'all. That's pretty much it, man. I ain't get a chance to listen to much else outside of those things. I did like that Moneybagg Yo. I did like that Her song. I'm gonna have to revisit that Jeezy Escobar and Fujiano because I was kind of busy when I was listening to it. But that's what my week has been like as far as music is concerned. Tell me what you've been on this week, man.
Man, this week, man, I don't even know where the week starts at, man. Let's see. This week, I listened to a little Scarface. Mr. Scarface is back. And I jumped over to 2 Chainz. Rapper Go to the League. Pretty Girls Like Trap Music. Luther Vandross's birthday was this past week, so
that's right.
I had a day of Luther Vandross, just listening to him, and then man, got on Big Crit, man. I was having some stuff to do at work, and I was like, man, I need something to help me like get through this moment. So I went through, like, just hit Big Crit and just hit play. So I was listening to Cadillactica, Forever's a Mighty Long Time, TDT, Crit is Here. What else? Then I somehow got to Juvenile. I don't know how I got to Juvenile, but I posed a question on social media. Is 400 Degrees a classic album? And, I think it is. you know, just because it's still like even to today you can like ride in your car and still bump it like it's just came out last week. So I listened to that, got to the Hot Boys, Guerrilla Warfare. Then I went over to Moneybagg Yo, A Gangster's Pain, and then back to Crit, man. So that was my week, man.
What was the consensus when you asked? Everybody said yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't see nobody. Somebody was like, "Why ask that dumbass question?"
Damn.
Nah, but the consensus was, it's a classic album. A friend of mine, shout out to Stanley, actually was like, it's probably the top 10 most influential album. I was like, I can see that, man. Juvenile like really came with it on that album, and honestly, that album along with a couple of their singles is what put them Cash Money in the forefront at that time. I think so. You know, that was huge, man, especially then. I don't know how I had it on tape too. I told you that story, Greg.
Yeah, I was like, this might have it on cassette,
on tape, man. My uncle, I'm pretty sure my uncle had it, and I just borrowed it permanently from him.
Stole it.
I ain't steal it because I mean, like, you know, I was just borrowing his music, you know.
Yeah, when you borrow something from family and never get it back, aka steal shit. It's not it's not on purpose. It's like not malicious. You just take something and then you don't never give it back.
Right.
And they don't
you never ask for it.
Because like go in your kitchen right now. I'm sure you got somebody dishes in there that ain't yours. Bruh, somebody a little Tupperware or some shit that don't belong.
I got somebody's like drying towel. And every time I see it, I be like, this ain't mine. And just fold it and put it back in the drawer.
Man, what? It's yours now.
Oh,
pretty
man.
Man. All right, man. Steve, what you been on this week?
All right, man. Let's go. Short week for me, actually. So, man, I came across Mo 3. I guess they released something for him. His post. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Posthumous album.
Hold on, wait. You know we did an episode about somebody's posthumous album.
And I think it was either Mac Miller or we did a whole episode about it, and I still can't say the damn name.
Steve was messing up that word so bad.
Posthumous.
We practiced how to say it before we record.
Yeah, we did, and it's still screwing it
word, man. It looked like posthumous.
Yeah.
So they dropped something for Mo 3. It's called Shot Us Forever. And it's pretty cool.
Was Boosie on it?
Yeah, Boosie's on like 2 records.
Oh, okay.
You know, Boosie's on there. Kevin Gates is on there. Let me see who else. Fujiano is actually on there too on a song called Mob, as well as YF and Lucci. Mm-hmm. But I really enjoyed this, and it sucks because, you know, of course he's passed at this point. And but it's some real good records on here. But unfortunately, yeah. So I enjoyed that for sure. Go check it out. Check out Money Maya and let me know what y'all think about that one. That's with him and Boosie. I really enjoyed that one, as well as the rest that was on there. So rest in peace to Mo 3. So have y'all do y'all know who the comedian that be on Instagram, and his name just slipped my mind. Is it Deshaun? What's his name? But nevertheless, it's a comic on. He from Atlanta, and man, he is hilarious. And he always talks about, like, in his skits, he always like mentions parlay. If y'all
Desi Banks,
yes. I don't know why
from DFB.
That's what I'm thinking is Parlay from them franchise boys is who he's referring to. But the joke is we never see him. He's always like, hey, Parlay, man, my dog Parlay, man, you know, all the time. But we never see Parlay in any other skits or like at all. So I was looking at one of them, the most recently one he dropped on 420. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go listen to some Parlay. So I went to go see what he had because I haven't, you know, heard much from him in a while. But he actually did release something in 2020 called Realize Everybody Ain't Living. And it just says real on the album cover. So I went through and checked it out. It just seven songs on it. Little EP. He has it was cool. It was Parlay.
For those who don't know, what does it mean to say it was Parlay?
Right.
It just is what it is. You know what you're gonna get from Parlay.
That ain't goofy as hell, bro.
Man, absolutely. But it was cool. I listened. I just wanted to. It's been a minute since I actually thought about Parlay at all. So, I went to kind of see what he had. Probably should have went and tried to find a mixtape, but it was, it was cool. From there, I winded up back at Slime Language too. I'm still rocking that. And also Big Scar as well, the Grim Reaper. But from there, I did listen to the Her record with her and Chris Brown. Pretty cool record. I'm definitely enjoying that. I don't know why, but her sounded like different on the record. I was like, wait, this is her? Why is this?
Was that her on the picture?
Yeah, that's her.
That's her?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, her on the picture. Yeah, that was her.
That was her. Okay.
And just some reason, I guess I'm so used to Damaged. I meant Damage, not Damaged, but Damage. That when I heard her on Come Through, I don't know why I was taken aback for a second. I was like, wow, she sounds different. But nevertheless, I enjoyed it, man. Tough tune. And then, man, we got the Money Bag Yo. And I haven't listened to nothing else since. All I've been listening to is Money Bag Yo, A Gangsta Pain. Excuse me. And I've been like listening to it like consistently. Like I just let it play. I really, really enjoyed Moneybagg. Is really like he coming with it on there. And believe it is 22 records, and I listened to the whole thing. And it, for some reason, it didn't feel like it was 22 records.
No, it didn't
at all.
It did not.
The interlude is dope, and it's not a record, but it's just dope because it's all a bunch of people just kind of giving him, advice and confidence. Free promo with Polo G and Lil Durk. Tough tune. Waukesha as well is definitely a tough tune, as well as I don't know, this might be my favorite record. If Pain Was a Person, I enjoy it. Like it's dope. And I was like, all right, I see what you're doing. Man, he was definitely talking his talk on here. He was, I don't know who he was talking to, who needed to hear whatever or who he had something to say to. But if you listen to his album, you heard it. For sure. But man, I enjoyed it. That was, like G said, I was like, whoa, this is a different Moneybagg. And now I'm like, man, all right, it's time to expand. Time to put him on like some other records. Oh, Certified Neptune. Look here. That record's crazy. Him and Pharrell, the record's crazy. So yeah, it's definitely time for Moneybagg to break out, I believe. He's even kind of singing on the album a little bit. And I was surprised by that. I was like, whoa, all right, Moneybagg, I like this. Okay. So if y'all haven't had a chance, check out that Gangsta's Pain. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Yeah.
For sure. I feel like I had a question for you. I can't remember what I was gonna ask.
Was it dealing with the Moneybagg or?
I don't know. I lost it, bro. I lost it. I gotta start like don't even worry about it. Yeah, I just gotta like write that shit down or just interject and be like, hold up, bro, stop. Like I gotta do some stuff like that. I forgot. That's all.
That's too funny, man. Yeah. Man, so the Steve list wasn't that long, man.
No, it wasn't that long,
man. Steve be coming in with the scroll. He didn't come with the scroll. He came with the. I'm gonna just put this on my phone real quick.
This was a show.
But this was a scroll for real. Man, this week in the news, man, I ain't really pick up a lot of news, man. I've been focusing on trying to play MLB The Show on Xbox, so I ain't been paying attention. Like, bro, like I suck at it. I am awful. But it's a good game. I enjoy it. So, Shock G of Digital Underground died this past week at the age of 57. Mm-hmm. That was shocking. I wasn't expecting that.
No.
At all. I never figured out what happened. They haven't revealed the cause of death, I don't think.
I haven't seen anything.
Yeah. So,
now that you bring it up, me neither.
Yeah.
But the Mr. Humpty Dumpty himself, that's the one thing I remember him from. And then like just being a student of hip hop, just going back and figuring out, he like Tupac was with Digital Underground and that's his group, Yeah. Like it took me, like I was grown when I figured that part out. But the Humpty Dance was like one of my favorite songs, like when it came out, I remember like trying to do the dance and stuff like that, not really realizing what he was saying. The same song, I always liked their music, man. So R.I.P.
Fun music, man. Very fun music.
Oh man, a good time. Yeah. And then the nose thing, like I thought that was his real nose.
Hell no.
Right. I mean, like, come on, man. I was a kid. I thought that was his real nose,
Yeah. I saw a post from T.I. and he was saying he was arguing with folks back then that Humpty was a real person. He said, I always thought it was a real person. I didn't know it was two different people. Or somebody was dressing up as Humpty. I thought that was just how to do it.
It was him.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like, I can see that.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
I can see that.
So RIP to Shock G of Digital Underground.
Shout out to
man.
Digital Underground. I ain't know Shock G name was Greg. That was cool.
Yeah.
I was like, this nigga named Greg too. That's what's
up. Yeah, makes sense. It makes sense, man. Yeah. Also this week, man, DMX his memorial service was yesterday. It was a big thing, It was on for a very long time too. I didn't get a chance to see any of it. I just, know it was going on and stuff. Did you guys check it out any?
No, I didn't see it. I just saw pictures and stuff.
Yeah,
I didn't want to watch it, man.
Yeah, like that was my sentiment too, man. I didn't want to watch it, But it's like, man, it's like you never realize how important the artist was until they're gone. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you're still hearing like even with what's the song, Where the Hood At? Where the Hood. Like I didn't like that song at all.
Yeah.
But it was like it was bumping. You know what I'm saying? Like you always bobbed your head and stuff when it came on. But like it's truly missed now. It makes you want to go back to it and say, okay, well let me check it out. So still, all right, even though it's been like what 2-3 weeks now, RIP to DMX and stuff. So yeah, man, I'm cutting it close with what I got, man. LeBron James has been under a little scrutiny for his tweets, which it was for like basically he tweeted out something about the girl that got killed in Ohio by a cop. Mm-hmm. And he tweeted out, "You're next," or something like that. It's kind of like hearsay, or well, it's not hearsay. It actually happened, but I just don't have all the facts to it. Yeah. But yeah, that's what it was. "You're next," hashtag accountability. With a hourglass emoji next to it.
Okay. I get what he was saying.
Yeah, so like, hey, because of the but a lot of people have been like, we've heard different things about that shooting and killing of this child, and so I don't really have anything good to say about it, but it's like LeBron James was in, like, he said that, and, that puts him up as far as like in the light of this happening. And I appreciate LeBron James for speaking his mind on things, man, because he's probably like one of the biggest athletes of today, right? Mm-hmm. And he speaks his mind about what he feels and not hide behind certain things or, care about his status, because I mean, like, at this point, who's to question it? Yeah. But what I brought this up because it was I was just scrolling through some stuff, and he responded to a Ohio bar owner who won't show NBA games until James is expelled from the league. So I saw that highlight. I didn't read the article. LeBron James' response to that is, "Oh, damn, I was headed there to watch our game tonight and have a drink." Well, he got a point, man. Like, yeah. I don't care. Yeah, like why would I don't understand people sometimes, and it gets into the constitutional rights of some, but not for you. Like, this is my constitutional right, but it's not yours. You know what I'm saying? And it's, the bar owner has the right to say, "I'm not playing any games featuring him until the NBA expels him." Cool. But on that same flip, well, how is that going to affect your business? Because I'm still going to eat. And the people that want to go see my games or see NBA games, they don't have to go to your bar. Mm. So what? Who are you ultimately hurting in this situation? So, I just think I appreciate LeBron James really, like, just speaking out and being able to do that, man, on the scale that he's able to do that on. I hate it for that little girl getting killed by the police, but I really, it's a tricky situation, just because it's like, she was 16 years old, so she was a child. She had a knife, and they were fighting. So it's like we have to hear the whole story. Was it for me? I feel like shooting a girl 4 times and killing her, like, that's a little excessive. But I mean, it's like, what do you like? Because the argument that somebody said was, she was trying to stab somebody else in front of the police. What is the officer supposed to do? I was like, there's a lot of things that you could do. But it's just tough, man. I don't have a clear answer for that, man.
Well, it's just a knife. So
right.
So, like, not to say that, like, the person needs to be stabbed or anything like that, but worst case scenario, the person does get stabbed. It's a lot less likely that person dies than the person who gets shot. So probably don't shoot. That's probably the best thing to do. Don't shoot. Like, maybe run up and rush the girl with the knife because she's 16, so you can probably overpower her.
Yeah, I mean, there's also this yellow ass thing that's on your hip that you use for when you know what I'm saying you don't need to shoot. That.
Just like announce your presence. I'm the police. Put the goddamn knife down. Like,
what happens when that doesn't happen though?
You don't have to stop. Like, you can be running up on her ass screaming, "I'm the police. Put the knife down." Like, you can run up and grab the knife and say that. You can do all that shit in one motion. It's not like one thing or the other. It's like, just go get the knife. It's not that hard, bro. Like, they teach you that shit in basic self-defense classes. Like, you know how to handle somebody who has a knife, especially a little kid. It's not that hard, bro. I'm telling you, it's not. It's really not. I've done it before myself. It's not hard to stop somebody from getting stabbed. You don't have to shoot a nigga to do that.
And I think from what because I haven't looked at that video, but from what I've kind of seen from like from photos here or there, he was behind her, so she didn't even know. Like from what I've seen, he's literally behind her. So there's like, you don't even see this police coming. So you got the advantage. Just grab her, fuck nut.
It's like, man, it's just a lot for me. So I haven't really paid a lot of attention to this one, just because of the other ones that has happened, and it's just a lot. I think one day I'm gonna sit down and like really look into it and stuff like that, because I always look at these situations and try to look at, okay, so what would I have done differently? Because we never know what we would do or how we react in situations like that. But we all do have situations pertaining to the police. And it's just, for me, it's a learning curve to figure out how to deal with policemen, and how to teach my child how to deal with policemen, and how to teach, like, any chance that I get to interact with policemen, how to encourage them to be better. Because I feel like if we all work together, we can like actually have a better relationship.
But you know what though? Why is it that we always got to figure out how to deal with the police? Why don't they learn how to deal with us?
The same reason I can't change the way you react to something, but I can change the way that I can react to something.
Well, yeah, I mean that's right. That's the sole
reason why I always look at situations and try to figure out, like, what can I do differently? You know what I'm saying?
But I'm saying in general, why is it always we got to learn how to deal with them? You know, I mean, like, the police, fix your shit. Period. Like, your whole thing is broken, and now we're completely seeing it. And then they also kind of, and I know this is in Minnesota, but they're doing a whole investigation into all of that now. So the doors are beginning to open on all that BS that's going on. So I'm really interested to see what things going, and hopefully get some real change. Because like, even sitting here thinking about it, like, you didn't have to kill the girl. You could have shot her in the leg. She would have dropped the damn knife. Shoot in the leg, she falls. Another option. Yeah. And whatever the hell, like, it's just it's at the point now that it's like, okay. All right. Because we clearly see other situations with white folks who come out wielding knives or doing a bunch of stupid shit or taking a police car or whatever. And y'all don't think about shooting shit. But when it comes to us, it's like, what? Like, shoot first, ask questions later? Like, it's just ridiculous at this point.
It's just, and that's that same thing that I was thinking too. But it's just like, at this point, it's like, we talked about this previously too. The question was, how do I get back home to my family in the safest way possible? And just, I'm glad you brought it up. Like, things are changing. You know what I'm saying? And the saddest part about this whole thing is that this behavior has been allowed. It's 2021, and we're just now talking about, okay, so a door has been opened, which leads me to my next thing, is this Derek Chauvin case. He was found guilty. Like, bro, that was one of the biggest sighs of relief. Like, I was holding my daughter when I was watching it, and just, I teared up a little bit, Because I was like, man, for the whole case, I was like, this man is somehow, they have to convince 12 people that he killed this guy. The defense only has to convince one person that maybe he didn't do that. Maybe he, didn't have ill intent. Maybe it was just a mistake. And this whole trial is like, man, he's going to get off. Somehow he's going to get off. But for this man to be found guilty, it's a point in the right direction of holding somebody accountable for these unnecessary deaths that are happening to Black and brown people. So, yeah, big victory, big door opening for the community and everything like that. And we appreciate it. But it's like, we have to go back and look at some things of policing just to figure out, like, why was this behavior allowed and accepted for so long?
Because the root of it goes all the way back to
slavery.
Yeah, all of that. Because
that's where police came from, man. It was slave catchers.
Yep.
Which doesn't make sense to me, man, at all. Anyway, but on a lighter note, man, Megan Thee Stallion said she's gonna take a break from music. I get it. I get it. Hey, everybody.
That's actually I think that's actually gonna be a topic we're gonna have to discuss one day. Is it's a lot to be said. There's a whole lot to be said because there's a lot of people doing that now. There's a lot of people who are just like announcing that they're taking a break, and there's a lot of people that just take breaks and don't even say nothing. They just don't do shit because they just don't do anything. Like we've talked about it a lot, but like the episode we had about like the demands of the fans from artists who don't drop music as often as we would like them to, aka Kendrick Lamar, and it's just like, bruh. Folks really do just get to retreat now. They get to just be like, you know what? I've given you enough. I'm gonna step away for a second. I'm not gonna worry about this. You can pull a Frank Ocean and just disappear. Yeah, like, you don't have to worry about it no more. You can just walk away. I think for somebody like Megan Thee Stallion, who has been in the public eye for so long in the last few years, I mean, so often for the last few years, I think it is. You almost do have to tell people you're taking a break. I mean, I guess you don't, because I feel like Cardi do that too. Cardi take breaks and she don't really say shit. She just don't put nothing out.
Don't put nothing out, yeah.
Yeah, she just don't put shit out and people just don't realize it, honestly, because she's still in the public eye. I think that's what's the difference is. Yeah. She don't take a break from the public eye. She just don't be putting out music. Yeah. These other artists that we talking about, they disappear from the public eye completely and you don't even see them niggas. You be like, where they at? What they doing? Like, why we ain't get nothing from, we ain't got no announcements, we ain't got no appearances, nothing. You just gone. You don't even exist. I think that's something that I really do think, that's something I'm gonna have to really think about. Because I think there's a lot of factors that go into
it.
Yeah. Because I don't think of when artists be like, I'm gonna take a break, I don't think of it as, all right, you really taking a break. I think something done happened and it's like, it's like code for like, some stuff is messed up over here, so y'all might not hear from me for a little while. As opposed to like someone like not announcing, like Kendrick not announcing he's taking a break. He's just taking a break and he's just gone. Versus someone who announces it and it's kind of like, are you really taking a break? And then afterwards you find out that they had like a bunch of crap going on. And so sometimes I feel like it's code word for like, hey, I got a bunch of crap going on. So y'all might not hear from me for a while. Versus, someone actually going on vacation or whatever.
So, I mean, like it's necessary for people, man. Like even like even me. Like I'll be like, man, I take off from work for mental breaks. Like shoot, I was like, man, I'm thinking too much. There you go. Yeah. And so
it's gonna be a great conversation though. I said it's gonna be a great conversation. I'm looking for we're gonna have to do that one.
For sure, man. I think it's important for people to take time for themselves, man. And with the internet and technology today, your name is constantly in somebody's mouth.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
You know,
and then also, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it used to be a time where people be like, "Keep your name out my mouth. Keep my name out your mouth, man."
Pretty much,
yeah. That's not the case no more.
Not the case.
That's impossible now.
Yeah.
And then I wonder, like, you know, if you're saying that to get out of public eye for whatever it is to come, because I'm just bringing it up because it's been like quiet for a while regarding the Tory Lanez and Meg case. Like it's dead silent. So it's like, okay, what's happened? And are you taking a break to take a break? Or are you taking it because whatever is about to come, you're like, all right, I need to get out the spotlight for a little while before whatever hits the fan. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting. But yeah.
I'm like, kudos to her, man. Take the break if you need it.
Yeah, definitely take your mental breaks, man. Don't stay just doing shit. I think it's different for different artists. Mm-hmm. Some people they just fucking breathe that shit, and then other people it's like it's a real effort that's put into it, and I think they do get tired.
Yeah. So that's like what I got for the news, man. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into this meat and potatoes of this episode, man.
Yeah. Giving people their flowers while they are still here. And G brought up a good example of like artists that sleep, live, and breathe their artistry. I.e. Currency.
Segway King.
So this kind of came up from a couple things. A couple different topics. One, of course, we've had 3 legends in the game pass away with X, DMX, Black Rob, and Shock G, which I don't know if Tommy intended to say Shock with Shock G, but I heard it, but it wasn't Shock. Yeah.
What did I say?
You said it was he was like RP Shock G. It was a shock that, it shocked me. And I was like, I don't think they intended that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you really did.
Nah, I didn't. I'm just sitting up here talking, man.
But it was like that was the last person we saw coming. Like it was like, wait, who just passed? But giving them their flowers while they're still, because like DMX, his listens went up like 900%. I'm sure every I think Lil Jon, when he does his Saturday night thing popped off. The first record he played was Whoa with Black Rob. And then I'm sure we're going to hear plenty of Shock G's records. And a lot of people talking about how great Shock G was. And the thing is, like, all right, while they was here, it was pretty silent on Black Rob. We didn't say too much about Shock G. And, X was getting himself, he was headed back to that spotlight. But, for your listeners to go up like 900%, like that, what was the other, what were we listening, how much were we listening to it before then? And then, someone like a Currency, y'all heard me mention Currency, someone that's like Currency, where there was a whole interview on him about our humble legend, that, that we don't talk about too much. So we wanted to, kind of try to shine and talk about this as far as giving people their flowers while they are here, their credit while they are here, and not waiting till they pass to be like, how super sad we are and to start honoring them. Like, let's start it now. So that's today's episode, man. That's what we get into in the meat and potatoes. So let's rock and roll, man. Let's rock and roll. First thing, G, why don't you hop into the Currency situation now?
Yeah, man. Okay, so you did mention that this is one of those people that breathes music. So I just wanted to highlight this little section from there, because it says, Spitta always floods his fans with music because he raps about his real life. Therefore, he never runs low on inspiration because he lives life to the fullest every day. And so they mentioned that he doesn't have to order his groceries or send somebody out to shop for him, because he's just like this humble dude that's always out in the belt. And he kind of breeds music. This man just puts out tape after tape after tape after tape after album after album after album. You just be like, God damn, nigga, Where do you get all this shit from? And in the interview, they asked him a question, and he was like, people don't be believing that he has something new to say when he putting out all this stuff, because it's like it comes out so frequently. It's like, how do you have something new to say that fast? And he like, as long as I'm living, I always got something new to say. I'm doing something different all the time. So it's a new experience that's happened since the last time you saw him. It's just like if you're catching up with your friend that you ain't seen in a few days. It's like they was probably doing normal shit, but it's still stuff that you didn't know about. Yeah, because you wasn't there. It's in my mind, I think of him as like using music as a diary, where that's been played on a bunch of times by different artists. They'll say like writing in my diary or something like that as their album titles and shit. I think Petey Pablo had something like that, where they use that as a title, but this man lives it. Like, this is literally a journal entry to this nigga. Like, an album is a journal entry. It's just like, all right, today I got up, I did this, I went to the store, I did it. And he put it into a song as if it's important enough to be on wax. Like, you wouldn't think that it's that important. You like, nigga, okay, first thing you wake up, you say your prayers and you blaze up. We don't give a fuck, but at the same time, it sound cool. So you can't be mad at the nigga for doing that shit. And so I think with people like that, whether it's Currency or any other artist that you know, like who we don't necessarily give a lot of attention to, I'm starting to think it's not necessarily like an underappreciation. It's just kind of like the way that shit moves with the industry. Like, it's only so much spotlight. So we can only highlight so much at a time because people have a finite attention span. And so it's like, all right, what's the newest shit? What's the hottest shit? That kind of thing. What are most people listening to right now? I think that's where like these people get lost in translation and they don't end up getting as much acknowledgement. It's just because there's not a whole lot of space on that stage for you to highlight all these people at once. Like, what y'all think about that?
No, I think that's I think it's cool for one thing to be able to do that. But then also I don't know, man. It's kind of tricky for me, man. It's like I like what I like. Yeah. You know, like it's I want to take Currency for example because I knew who Currency was, right? Heard his music, okay, you know, wasn't huge. Talk to you guys, let me go back and listen to him. All right, anything Currency drops, I want to check out now. Not because I'm a huge fan of it, but because I noticed how much music he had. It's like, I'm just curious to see now at this point, what is he talking about? You know, how is he able to do all of these things on a consistent basis, on a basis that I can say, okay, I like that. You know, because the music is not trash at all with Currency. And the way he's telling the stories and stuff like that are also interesting. But it's like, it's kind of like, I like what I like and I don't like what I don't like, but everything else is in between. And for me, Currency is something that I don't. It's kind of like those low what they call lo-fi beats. Yeah. You know, it's like if I can get away from the words, then it's good to me. But when it comes to Currency, it's I feel like like if I'm doing something, I can't read with it because you know people in rap and me trying to read it distracts me. But if I'm doing anything else, I can listen to it. And I can hear some of the stories and I can do what I'm doing. Just kind of like my white noise. Kinda. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like this particular Currency, it's interesting to see how consistent he can be and how humble he is in that consistency. You know what I'm saying? It's like I look at people and I look at their work ethic and then I try to match it. Because my whole thing is, if you can do it, I can do it. and it may come easy to you and I may have to work at it, but I still can do it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what am I doing what are you doing that I'm not doing? And how can I implement that? And it's like the guy's work ethic to be as consistent as he is, like it's crazy. He may put out a whole project, maybe put out a song here and there, maybe put out 4 songs here and there. But then again, you know you're gonna get something. Like this year alone, we've gotten like 2 or 3 mixtapes, maybe an album. I know he just released a song last week. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that's the stuff that you look at. That's the stuff that we don't know to appreciate it because we don't see it. You know, it may not be an artist that we listen to, but it's an artist like him particular because I didn't listen to him like y'all listen to him. You know what I'm saying? So, I think Currency is a great artist, man, at what he does.
I got this little thing I want to read to y'all right quick. It's not even a real word. It's like a made up word that I found one time. It's like the dictionary of obscure some shit, but the word is salience, and the it's spelled SILIENCE. And the definition that they give is the kind of unnoticed excellence that carries on around you every day, unremarkable. The hidden talents of friends and coworkers, the fleeting solos of subway buskers, the slapdash eloquence of anonymous users, the unseen portfolios of aspiring artists, which would be renowned as masterpieces if only they'd been appraised by the cartel of popular taste. These people who assume that brilliance is a rare and precious quality and accidentally overlook buried jewels that may not be flawless, but are still somehow perfect. Mm-hmm. That's what I think of when I think of people who don't get their flowers until they die. Yeah. It's like it's like this hidden ass brilliance that's just like sitting there out in the open, like it's there. You don't even think to appreciate it because it's so constant, or maybe it's because it's like you just take it for granted, I guess. Because I don't want to stay on Currency because we can also jump back to like DMX, where like DMX, he had a moment where he was like this big, huge thing where like everybody was appreciating him at one time. But then like over time, he got older, he got more things going on in his life, and he just kind of fade away from that acknowledgement, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And that don't mean that he's not still doing great shit. It just means that you're not paying attention to it the same way. Yeah. And I think that's like a real big thing in hip hop. It's like, as people be around for a long time, we just kind of like fade away from relevance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Somebody that's popping up in my head, and I don't know if you had something to say, Steve, but I'm going to just throw this in there real quick. Manny Fresh is another person that pops up in my head. Like, I think about the verses he did with Scott Storch. I didn't watch that verses, but I felt like it was a unfair fight. You know what I'm saying? And because I was just listening to 400 Degrees, the Hot Boys this past week, he did all their beats. Yeah. And then you go through a period where he's not with Cash Money anymore, and he's doing, his own little thing and stuff like that. And then maybe, when did the Carter 5 come out? 2 years ago?
Yeah. Or
last year, 2 years ago? Mm-hmm. And here it is. Manny Fresh got a beat on the Carter 5, still sounding the same, but that song is so bumping. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that same sound is there. It's a Manny Fresh beat because it's Manny Fresh. Yeah. And it's been there all this time. Because I'm pretty sure that wasn't the first beat he made in 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, it's crazy that you say that. I don't know what word you just said, but that was amazing, boy. Greg and his words, boy. I need a word a day from this dude. Man, but now like that's a perfect definition. What was the word again?
It's salience. I'm gonna put it in the Slack, man.
Okay.
Put the whole definition in there.
There you go. Salience. This is new word. The word of the day is salience. No, but that's the perfect definition or the perfect word to say when you're thinking about these artists that of giving them the flowers, man. So, Steve, I don't know if you was finna say something, but I had to put that in there before I forgot it.
Oh, no, he was good. Get it on out. For me, and I'm probably gonna go back to Currency and then come up to where we're at now. That word I think is perfect. I think we just really take stuff for granted. And we live in this microwave society where we're on to the next so quickly. We're looking for the new shiny toy, or in this case, the new shiny, diamond or whatever. But, that old one is still just as shiny. We just, for some reason, take it for granted because, all right, it's here. We know it's going to give us, it's consistent. And we just move on for some whatever reason. But kind of going back, I think a part of that is kind of our job to, as fans, and I always kind of hate that word, but as fans to keep that light going, because a guy like Currency, he giving you, it's so consistent and it's so good that it's like, what he giving you. So it's gonna put you where you need to be. I kind of look at Currency as like a one of those athletes on the court that is balling, but you don't really pay attention to his stats until till it's all over. And then you're like, what in the world? That man was balling. And you was like, what was I looking at? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, what was I doing? And it just, you're so used to, I guess we get so comfortable in that consistency. Like, okay. Like, we know what he brings to the table. It's always going to be there or whatever. And when you talk about in the article, and we got to tell everybody where they can find the article. When you talk about where he doesn't have anyone going grocery shopping for him or any of those things, it take me back to a show when he came here in Nashville, and that man did, and it was some years ago, and people wasn't talking about, Currency coming to the city, but the people that was, rock with Currency, we were going to be there. It was easy. Yeah. It's like, oh, Currency coming to, all right, we there. And, after the show's over and, it's packed, but it's not, it's not as if, say you brought someone else who's, got the hottest new thing or whatever, but it's packed with his people. And when it's all over, shoot, man, like literally just like folks walking up on the stage to get autographs. And he's just like chilling. Like, I'm signing. Like, I almost had him sign my Olive Nines. And I stood there and I thought about it for so long. I was like, do I want him to sign my Olive Nines? Oh, not. I don't know. But he was just signing folks stuff, taking pictures. And it was just like the coolest thing. Like, he was just like there was not a care in the world for him. Yeah. Of course, this is pre-COVID. So, blunts passing all through the place. And he's throwing something out there and they could, whatever. And like, just to have the accessibility, I think we take it for granted that we have someone of his caliber that chills with us and doesn't make it a big deal. It ain't like, such and such. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I come in, I command this attention. It's more of like, I'm just a homie and I love to do this. So that's my thing with Currency. And I think we really take it for granted. Like, just too much. Yeah. And then speeding up to like, the whole thing with X, like when you look back at X and what he did, like 4 albums, all number 1, like, okay. And then, once he goes through what he goes through and he kind of, which pretty much takes him out of the scene, then you're like all that stuff still exists. Like, it's still there. Those albums are still there. They're never going to go away. But yet for some reason we're like, and the general consensus is like, X, like why we want, like DMX is just, at that point, just like, and I hate to say the word like nobody, but like, it's like, oh, it's just DMX, whatever. Yeah. But like, it like, yo, if you don't remember what X did in like X was the biggest thing since sliced bread at a current moment in time.
Yeah.
And it's like once he passes, it's like, oh now everybody's like bringing up all of these things. So why didn't we do that when he was going through his, his transgressions, his struggles and all that, or, to lift him up, or to, why not during the time? I don't know. It's the weirdest thing. And that's why this show is created, so that we can try to do that before, and same way with Nipsey, man. I met him one time and didn't really get a good conversation with him. And I was like really banking on meeting him again to get a good conversation in, and that gets cut short. And it's like, dang, never be able to tell him how much he meant to me beforehand. So it's just, I don't know. It just sucks. I know I'm probably at the point of rambling, but it's just trying to express the point of why don't we give the effort to give this before, and it's probably as simple as we just don't damn think about it. Like we're so, or it's like we're so used to them being around that, you can't, cause I can't even fathom it, DMX passing until now. And you're just like, wow. But we all know that everybody's got to go at some point.
Yeah.
So
it's like we think they're going to be there forever. Like we don't think it, like you said, we don't even think about what happens if this person's not here tomorrow. And that's something you can probably put into your own personal life as well, but we ain't gonna go that deep. But like, it's like, if this person is not here tomorrow, what does that look like? You don't think about that. Like, you don't really think like, this might be the last time I see such and such. Like, you don't think about it like that. Like, Currency was just here in Houston this past week. He was here on 420. He had a show here and shit, and I ain't go because nigga, why? But anyway, the last time I saw him, I was in Memphis, and I've seen him 3 times now, maybe 4. I think it's 3 times. I saw him once in Atlanta, and it was just him and like the Jet Light folks. I saw him once in Atlanta with Wiz, and then I saw him in Memphis at a place called the New Daisy Theater on Beale Street. And the last one was cool because, like you said, like after the show, that nigga came out in the crowd. He sitting there smoking with everybody and shit, taking pictures, and it was just crazy. It was just like, here go Currency, like chilling with us. Because me and Derek was at the show because I had talked Derek into going to shit because I was like, bro, what you doing? He was like, not shit. I was like, bro, you want to go to the Currency concert? It's like $20, bro. And that's another thing. It's like, nigga, it's $20. Yeah. It ain't even that much to go see that, man. And he was like, yeah, come on, let's go. So we go, and then we leaving out. We leaving the show, and then here go Currency, like walking by us and shit. I'm like, yeah, that's the nigga right there. And he was like, oh shit. So we stopped. He's sitting there taking pictures and shit and smoking blunts and shit with folks. And then he walk off to the next niggas and shit. Yeah. And it was just as easy as that. No security, none of that. They got all his chains on and shit. Like, ain't nobody trying this nigga. He just there. He just doing his thing. And looking like he at home. But then he came, like I said, he came here this past week, and it wasn't no sense of urgency, like, oh, I gotta go see Currency. Because it was like, nigga, I done seen this man 4 times. Like, I'm good. I don't need to see that man again. But I don't know. You don't think about it like that with artists and stuff. You don't be like, if I don't go see him now, I ain't gonna never get to see him. Yeah. You just feel like they're very accessible. And maybe it's because of the nature of their job. The nature of their job is that they do that. They tour. They go everywhere all the time. So you figure, this person will be back. This person will be back. Especially when you have experiences like that. Because I have that same kind of experience with Crit. I done seen Crit like 4 times. Whereas like, he'll be back. That might gonna go on tour, and then he gonna come through a city near you and shit. And then you can always go to the store. I mean, you can always go to the damn show and be like, all right, cool, I saw Crit. Yeah. And you just be fine with it. But it's not necessarily true. You may not always get to see them folks. Now, when it is an older person, you might think twice about it, because when Big Boy and Sleepy Brown came to Memphis, I ain't like pass up on that opportunity. I wasn't like, I'm gonna get to see Big Boy again. Because like, no, you're not. You're not gonna get to see Big Boy again. So go see that nigga. But like some of those other people, you just be like, eh. And even DMX, when he was in New Orleans and I went to go see him, that wasn't something I was just like super eager to do. Mm-hmm. I just was like, I'm gonna have fun with my cousins, so I just go with them because they want to go see this man. But I was happy I did go, because then I got a chance to experience the legend, which was like, bro, this man was huge in my childhood, bro. Like, why would I ever be like, nah, I don't go see this man? It make you think twice about it and wonder why you don't appreciate it that way. Mm-hmm. Like, damn, bro, why didn't you think that this was gonna be cool? But then I get here and I'm like, this shit is amazing. Like, why would I pass this shit up?
Yeah, like, why would I even think twice? Like, you know, and you know, when you brought up the whole thing about, you know, folks kind of being so accessible, that really clicked in my head was, all right, Starlito, Buck here in Nashville, like literally, like my homeboy is my homeboy Pope is cool with Lito, and I see Lito like I'm within arm's reach, and like you see Lito, it's like, what's up, man? What's up? Like literally, like we don't know each other per se like that, but you know, we see each other. It's, what's up, man? And it's just on to the next. But yet, you know, I listen to Lito's music all the time, but never like you just get so comfortable with it, and it's like, that's just Lito, you know. Like, but in another city, somebody could be like freaking out, like, bro, that's Starlito, bro, you know. And for me, it's like, that's Lito. Like, you know, like to the point where I don't even call him Star no more. It's just, that's Lito. This is Lito. And same with Buck. Like, Buck just be in the club and it's like, yo, what's up, Buck?
I saw that nigga in the club in Nashville one time.
Yeah,
this shit was so normal. I was like, this nigga is a regular dude.
Yeah, that's how it be. And you're so used to it. And it's like, this is Buck or whatever. And then, but you never fathom, like, all right, what if Buck is no longer here? And, you know, Lito, whatever. And it's like, dang. Then we're all at the funeral like, man, that was my dog, blah, blah, blah. And not telling them that while they're here. So, you know, it's, like you said, it's stuff that we can put in our own life. But with that comes, you know what I'm saying, the reverse. The reverse for where we do give like a lot of praise, and sometimes it's for the wrong things. Like, hey, the biggest dope dealing rapper of ever. And we seem to flock to that. And for some reason, it's like a completely 360 from, you know, giving that praise while someone's still here to like, yo, everybody flocks to the hottest new dope boy on the track. So let's get into that part when the role is
flipped. You are amazing. I have to say that. I want to get this nigga his flowers right now. This nigga is cold. I'm sitting up here like, I see where you're going. I see it. I see it. This nigga is cold. Okay.
You know, and it's such an interesting thing because I get lost in it too, because, you know, sometimes like, dang, did you really say that? And then you start to get into it, like, you know, for a perfect example, Jeezy. Like, once we figured out he was who BMF was and that his association with BMF and the whole story behind it, it was like, that was it. It was like, yo, stamp of approval. Jeezy, he really blah, blah, blah. It was same for Gucci. When we found out about Gucci, I don't know how we say it, defending himself, I guess, and shooting someone. It seems like the star power like shot up.
Shoots up, man. Like we said about Project Pat.
Yeah, Project Pat as well.
This nigga official, bro. This nigga official. Like,
absolutely. And it's like we zoomed in on all might as well say the negative parts, and we're like, yo, what he's been on this track so real. That's what we listening to, and like this our guy, and blah blah blah. And it's like the reverse of it. So what was it? And it seemed like it's always that. Like the negative part, like dope dealing,
even with DMX.
Whatever. Yeah, absolutely. Because man, when you found out DMX's story, And the crazy thing, DMX's first song was nothing about that. It's about talking about this girl named Keisha, that he wanted to date. Which is one of my favorite songs, by the way. It's amazing. Even LL Cool J, like, we don't even talk about LL anymore, and all this stuff was like really about, besides Mama Said Knock You Out, was about, women and all that. But, just kind of looking at all of that, let's kind of get into that part. And we're just going to we're going to get a little micro on it. And the most notable thing which comes with hip hop is the drug game. Yeah. And a lot of artists pop off of that, whether they're actually doing it or we find out that they're not. And the fun thing is when we find out that your story is kind of flawed, we really do. Like, as if none of your music was dope, you just get shunned completely. Yeah. Like, nah, bro, we ain't rocking with you no more.
And the thing for me is, like, me personally, I never sold drugs. Most of the ways I got my money was legal, and stuff like that. So I understand where the story comes from and why the story. But what is confusing to me, I'm not going to say necessarily confusing, but what baffles me is that some of the most successful people, that's where the music comes from. Like trap, like I use T.I. for example. When me and Steve was talking about it, I was like, T.I. is he's one of my favorite rappers because I love the way that his style in rapping, in telling the story, not necessarily the story, because the story itself is like a movie, listening to it, like a audio movie. You have to use your imagine to the things that's going on, but it's like a audio movie and it's celebrated. But then again, it's like you like just off the realm using an example like Shock G. You know what I'm saying? His music was, as we described it earlier, very playful. Another example is Afroman. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Afroman's music was completely playful. Because I Got High. It was a hit. It was a good song because it was talking about weed, of smoking it, not selling it, just smoking it. Yeah. But the most successful, like the example that I used with Steve was 3 out of your top 5 probably sold the drugs. You know what I'm saying? You go to your top 10, majority of your top 10 was of previous drug dealers. And I can't say why that is. Those artists are successful. I mean, it is what it is when it comes to what you previously did. It's like, hey, if your lyrics are nice, if your beat is nice to me, if I like you, like the style, I'm gonna listen to you. But I hated that, it had to come from such a violent and negative aspect of life. And it is what it is, like I said before, but I mean, that's my thoughts on it. It baffles me that that's where it comes from. Now, you got the rappers now, like you have to question what they're doing. Yeah. Because the lifestyle that they're speaking on, the generation before us really lived that life, and majority of us don't have to. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like I know people that have sold drugs and stuff like that, but they are older than me. I know people that sold drugs as younger than me, but all in all, it's less of a stigmatism for us to grow up and see it. We didn't see it like the generation before us saw it. Like the people in the 80s, that's who they saw. The people that grew up in the 90s, yeah, we saw them, but we were still doing other things. We had other things to shield us from that. So I don't know, man. I know it don't answer the question. It kind of just rambles along a line, like a circle around it. But That's how I feel about it, man.
That's it's an interesting concept though, that in hip hop specifically, that it has to, you kind of have to have like a stamp of approval of your affiliation with like street culture, so to speak, or not even necessarily street culture, but just like impoverished culture.
Yeah,
because I think street culture is born from poverty.
Yeah,
and so it's like coming from a place of not having, and so it's almost looked down upon if you're doing well. Like if you're doing
exactly.
well, as if you can't be a great fucking storyteller and be successful and make good music if you don't come from some kind of a struggle. Like you don't have nothing to talk about. You think like talking about things that happen to you that are good are not compelling. Like I think Crit talks about that in one of them songs. He'd be like, I guess the story of a country boy just ain't compelling. Like it's just like don't nobody give a shit. Basically, like we don't care. Oh, okay, you grew up in the country and you play baseball and you wrote poems and shit. We don't give a fuck about that. Like that ain't fun. But no, you got the shooting with some niggas. Like yeah, we want to hear that. We want to hear that. And maybe it's because of like accessibility and people not having day-to-day access to seeing people get into shootouts. So it's like that's exciting because I don't see that shit all the time. Yeah, I seen a nigga write poetry before, but I ain't never seen a nigga write poetry who used to shoot niggas. So like that's different. I want to see what he gonna talk about because I ain't get to see that. But then like you'll have somebody else who went a different route. Like maybe somebody who struggled by working at McDonald's. Like they whole life, they was always going from fast food job to fast food job and just not really making a lot of money and still was struggling. I still don't think they gonna get the same kind of look. And that's a struggle. Like that's a real struggle. You ain't making no money. You out here really starving and don't nobody give a shit. That kind of sucks. And it seems like that's not a prerequisite for any other genre of music. Like you don't listen to pop music and then like it's about a struggle. It's normally about having fun. It's normally about good times. It's normally about stuff that you enjoy.
Yeah. Like it's crazy. That's exactly what I was trying to. Like Greg is a wordsmith, man. If you need somebody on your team, you need to pick Greg. He don't have the words, bro. Like literally, that's what I was trying to say. It's like it baffles me so much that happens. It's like, hey, your story is not compelling enough, but you went through the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's like and I get where it comes from because hip hop was born out of poverty.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was born out of not having enough. But at this point in 2021, niggas are rich off of hip hop, bro. Like you can get paid for being a rapper. And it's like, why is that still celebrated? Why is it necessary? And I know everybody can't come from royalty, but you think about it like this: Jaden Smith comes from Will Smith. Duh. But Will Smith is a actual great rapper. You know what I'm saying? To this day, like I don't know if you guys listen to Icon remix, but that like Will's verse in that thing was tough. As a rapper, like he's more celebrated as a actor, of course, but as a rapper, he was one of the first to win Grammys. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't really think about that. A lot of people don't bring that up when they talk about him in hip hop. But he didn't come from he wasn't rapping about drugs and gang affiliation and violence and stuff like that. And so, you know, you look at Jaden is not taken seriously because of who his parents is as a rapper. Another one, not JoJo, but it was I think Diggy.
Yeah.
Diggy Russell. Fire. Like the songs that he put out, Simmons, yeah, I'm sorry. Simmons, yeah. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking about, but Diggy Simmons, the songs that he put out, he was fire. His rap song, you know what I'm saying? But it's looked at being funny because he's the son of Run. Mm-hmm. And when Run DMC came out, they were talking about their lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So their lifestyle and stuff like that. So it was hard for them anyway, coming up in the game, Run DMC. But then you got Diggy, who has basically his whole life been sheltered from it. It's like, why doesn't he get the same chance as his dad did? Because in sports, that happens. Mm-hmm. LeBron James' son of Bronny, when he gets to the league, because there's no question he's going unless he gets hurt. Lord forbid he gets hurt. When he gets to the league, he's going to get the respect that his dad got. But why isn't that given to rappers who we know did not come from that lifestyle?
Yeah. So both of y'all brought up something that alludes me to a story that I've always heard, but it's always like tough for me to believe in as far as hip hop itself. Mm-hmm. And there's always a story of what they say gangster hip hop, gangster rap, and the drug rap was purposely put there. Mm-hmm. And to succeed. And it was always tough for me to believe. I'm like, but you can't control what people like. I always thought, as far as what they listen to, I always was like, you can't, how can you control that? But when I got, when someone actually broke it down to me, it was like, well, it isn't the fact of like control. It was the fact of purposely placing where it would be successful at. And I was like, but we the ones who listened to it. And it was like, yeah, you're right. But the thing is, are we the ones who actually buy it? And I was like, I do. But then I had to look back and I'm like, yeah, but I had to look back and I had to really pay attention. I'm like, but there's a bootleg on like every corner in the hood. Yeah. We're not going to the store like that to buy all those albums. And he was like, ding, ding. So it's like, think about the suburban kids, not just suburban white kids, but also, you know, suburban black kids out there that actually enjoys the music and is taking mom and dad's money and buying it like in bulks. And it was like, you know, think about where those stores are, where folks are going to, like those they're not in the hood. There's not a Best Buy in the hood. We got to drive to that. There may be a mom and pop store, but you know, hey, so that story was, and still this day, it's kind of tough for me to like. It's getting lesser and lesser tough for me to believe it because now I'm like, okay, I get it because now I understand of supply and demand. Mm-hmm. You know, putting stuff purposely putting stuff in a certain area, and when it comes to it, like it's the entertainment and like the entertainment factor, sex, money, and drugs, right? Mm-hmm. And G brought up something very interesting because he was like, shoot, I hope it don't slip my mind, but he brought up the fact that God dog it, and it did. It sucks. It's gonna come back because G is the reason why it popped up in my head and I formulated this all together. But Tommy brought up the fact of you know, why do people enjoy it? That's what it was. And G was pretty much saying that people, they don't see it every day. Like they don't have the access to this. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like that's intriguing how you're a rapper and you're telling about what goes on the hood. And you kind of look at that and you're like, ding, ding. You're like, oh yeah. Cause more than likely those suburban kids have never even experienced it and they want to be a part of that life. Mm-hmm. Like as much as possible. So of course, like I was on Instagram and this newly married couple, white female, white guy riding, and they're listening to some gangster rap talking about shooter, info, da-da-da, and singing it word for word. And I'm like, huh. And it's like, and the caption is like, I'm my wife is a rider or whatever. And you're like, okay, I get what you want to do there, but like it's just if you ever get a chance, if you ever find a clip and you see that, and they can listen to me. I mean, I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but looking at that, it looks so weird because you're like, you would think that the people who live the life, and we listen to the music, we rap word for word, and we get a different feeling. But then when you see somebody that's like, you're like, you're like a white kid that lives in a gigantic house and, all that. And you're like, well, why do you even like our music? It really makes me, I think that answers that's probably the answer that you're looking for, Tommy.
Yeah.
Like, I know it looks like us because we like, all right, why do we celebrate it so much? Why do we like this? And why is it so big? Why are they so successful? And most of the time, the thing is, it isn't us who's making them successful.
Yeah.
It's perfectly placed. And you kind of get this example with movies, right? Scarface. Let's take that example. Scarface is full of all that. And it gives the entire idea. And if you ask anybody, is Scarface a classic movie? What are they going to say? Yes. Mm-hmm. And in the black community, we're like, Scarface, Scarface, Scarface. In hip hop, Scarface, Scarface, Scarface. And it's like, okay, that's cool. That's great. But, what about The Pursuit of Happiness? Yeah, he was all right. And I think it just comes down to what sells and people. And when I look at that whole story and that whole scenario of like that drug rap, that gangster rap was planted, it was so hard for me to believe until I got older and understood all of the factors. And I was like, yeah, that is why. That is perfectly why. Because when me and Tommy would tell you, we had a store down the street from where we stayed at it was called Pruitt. It was the Red Food Store, and then they called it Pruitt's. It was a guy that sat in there.
The Red Food Store.
Yeah, before they changed the Pruitt's, and then before it became Bilo.
Yeah,
but it was a guy that sat in there with bootleg tapes.
Yeah,
and me and Tommy walked down there to get us a tape. Every time we got like $5. I think it was like $5 or $10. Yeah, and we walked down there every single time. Oh man, there's something new out, and we're like,
yeah.
But at that time, we didn't know it was like bootlegs. It was like, oh, he got the tapes, and he got them. And we're like, we couldn't get the Cats because Cats was on Brainerd Road and Cats was far from us. We, our moms wouldn't take us. So we walked down to Pruitt's, get us a tape, come back, listen to it. So like looking at that, and it was like, wow. Like, yeah, like in the hood, normally, we're not the ones really buying the music.
Yeah.
It's normally your white suburban, kid that wants to be down with this life that doesn't have a clue.
Yeah.
That in some instances is really real.
Yeah.
But of course, when we see the photos, it's like, oh man, it's us in the photos that is, celebrated because we're at the shows and, even we're around the homies and it's like, man, that bar right there give me chills because that, like, I've experienced that.
Yeah.
Versus the white kid or the white male, female, or the suburban kid or the suburban black kid or, whatever. Because it's not just, I don't want to put it all on suburban white kids, but there's also suburban black kids that are riding down a freeway, rapping it word for word. And probably went and actually bought the album at, at Cats. And you're like, at Best Buy. And you're like, what? Like, okay.
But the biggest question or the thing that pops up in head now is something that is basically being a kid from growing up from not having everything, not like basically growing up smack down in the middle of the hood. And, the stories of poverty, I'm a product of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell my wife all the time, it's like, I don't want to be broke. I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to make sure that my grandkids and their grandkids make it, and don't have to start where I started from. Mm-hmm. Why is it cool to be a part of that environment? Why is it cool to be, lack of better words, poor?
You know what? I've always fought with that. I'm gonna tell you a story. In college, it was first year, and the teacher asked us in English, right when I'm writing classes, write a paper about yourself. And I always hated to do that because I knew my story and it wasn't glamorous or, whatever. And literally at the bottom of the paper, I was like, man, please don't ask me to write about my life again. And my homeboy looked at it and he was like, man, come on, man, erase that. and it was always a struggle. And for us, when we're looking through our eyes, most time we're like, we don't want no handouts. We don't want you feeling sorry for us. Because it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Because it feels a way towards us. We're like, man, they just feel sorry for you. That's why they helping you or something like that. And that's been put in our heads. But then on the other end, looking through their eyes, I think is like for some reason, they see something totally different. Like, man, they really earned, we really earned everything we got. And then also, sometimes it's as simple as attention. Like, we tell a story about how we grew up and we got to where we at and how hard we worked. Some of their moms and dads may look at that and be like, man, that's really inspirational. And then their kids are sitting there like, well, what the hell am I? Like chopped liver? Because sometimes those stories, people talk about our stories after we leave and they fan out about it and like, man, that's a credible story. You work so hard, this and that. And then the respect that we give, because we can walk around in these neighborhoods and not be bothered. Whereas if they come down, you're fresh meat. You ain't from here. Like, who are you? And we can go to their neighborhoods and probably walk around, maybe get some negative attention here or there by possibly the police, but we may go up there and take the girls or something like that, But I really think it's the attention, and then also what's put out in the world of like, we have this respect that, they can't earn. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We really have, like, even though they don't know the level, because, like I've always said, I ain't the worst of the worst, but I've been in them, been around. And, when folks, hey, that's Steve, he good. Don't nobody bother. Versus, I've seen where some people come around, they're like, man, what's up with you, man? You kind of weird, man. And they're not really weird. It's just, you ain't from here. We can see, So, and it's crazy because you got some of these kids that wants that so bad. And I just really think it boils down to attention. Just want it so bad.
That's the dumbest thing in the world. Kind of like, bro, like, it's crazy because most rappers, a lot of people, most people that we know grew up similar to how we grew up. We didn't have everything, but we got the necessities. You know what I'm saying? We got what we needed to get to where we are today. And like, the biggest thing that I think about is, how do I set my child up to where she wants the things that she wants and not have to struggle to get it? Because it was like, we never went hungry. You know what I'm saying? But we always had food to eat. It may not be what we wanted. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's always a meal there. The simple thing as far as owning a home, like those are things that like we want now, understanding what it means. But back then it didn't mean nothing to not own a home. For my parents not to own a home. And now thinking about it, it's like, well, why didn't they own a home? Why did they rent? Why did we live with my grandma? You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. We appreciate it because it got me where I am today. And, I understand like why people deal drugs or steal, rob. And I understand like some of it. But a lot of it is like, well, why won't you try to put your attention somewhere else. But a lot of it is, this is what I seen the richest people in around me. These are the superheroes that I have, and these are what these superheroes did. You know what I'm saying? I just never understood why that behavior is like desirable. Because for me, I never want to live. I don't want my child to live the way I had to live.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and normally that's the goal. I think what happens is, so I think there's two things. I think there's another part that we forget is that, you know, we know the person who, you know, most time we know that person. We all know a person who like really struggled, and then when we make it, like we celebrate them because like they made it. And I think that's the part of, you know what I'm saying, some of the music why we celebrate it. Cause like, even though, yeah, we know what they're talking about is like, just like detrimental, but it's like, that's really their story. So it's like, so, you know, sometimes we look at it as, man, that's really his story. And we happy that he made it out and he don't have to do that no more, or she don't have to do that no more. Because we really know that, like most time we really know that person or somebody that is that person, or hell, we are that person at some times. And then for the other side, it's like, I want to know that person. I want to experience that. And something they have such a hunger that they want to experience it. Like, why? Like this isn't, no, like we did this to get out.
Right.
Not to come in.
It wasn't,
you know what I'm saying?
To come in.
And then also I think as a flip side, because now I think we don't think about them as well. Like, all right, what if I did see it through this suburban kid's eyes? Like, and then you're kind of like, dang, yeah, your life kind of does suck. Even though you have everything, you're kind of like, yeah, you like, your mom and dad is always gone. Y'all don't do barbecues. Y'all don't hang, talk at dinner. They're always working. Y'all don't sit together. And then for us, that was just something basic was basic necessities that we have. Like, hey, we might not have a kitchen table to sit at, but we all in the living room in front of TV and we eat and we talk. And we have barbecues and we make the best out of whatever it is. And it becomes enticing to them. Like, I want a piece of that. I want that attention. Like, what if I was like this? It's kind of like the jock at school, you know, like you have one that is like, he's set up for all of this success to be great and play football. His dad's name is on the damn banner in the school. And he's, you know what I'm saying, like you're expecting him to be this great athlete because he comes from all that. But then this one kid comes and he's natural and he's better and he's a beast. And now everybody's like, yo, he's hard. Like he's unstoppable. Versus, you know, just a week ago, Mr. Randy James' son over there, you know what I'm saying? We know what to expect. He's going to be great. You know, whatever. But then you got somebody that comes like, man, like if you know his story, you would want to celebrate him and make sure he keeps going. And the other guy starts feeling some way like, dang, why he got the fresh eyes?
That's just jealousy,
man. Yeah. In some sense,
that is weird to say. That is a really weird concept. That it's just jealousy or envy. Like people celebrating the more impoverished people and people who have more of a struggle. It's just like a weird envy of just like, I wish I had that same struggle, because like I think you said, Steve, it's like an attention that comes with it. There's a celebration that comes with it. Like, this man overcame the odds, or she overcame the odds, that kind of thing. It's like you ain't overcame shit because your shit was straight. Like you was good. You didn't have to overcome nothing. But people don't appreciate that at all. Like we don't appreciate if you didn't have no kind of struggle. We don't think that this, it's almost like you're not even, you don't deserve the success you get because you didn't have to struggle.
But that's so it's so fucking weird, because that's like what, as a parent, that's why I bust my ass.
Yeah. But we see this. Think about it. We see this in rap too. Like,
it's crazy.
When we find out that wasn't really your life and you lived in this big house and you was good, like I said, we'd be like, Oh yeah, you fake, bro. We don't rock with you. Like, why do you even feel to even want to like lie about or live someone else's life? Like it's the weirdest thing, but it all delves down to human emotion, and it's like, bro, it's just attention. Like the conversation, I've had this conversation with some folks before, and I'll be like, hey, bro, like you shouldn't feel like. I always say this, like our conversation about our stories becomes, like a big thing, public thing. Whereas the conversation to keep the kid who got everything to keep him going becomes a side conversation, because like ours is really intended to inspire. Like you can get here too, and it's really for the people that are growing up like us, whereas you do have some folks who look at their story and it's like, well, how do I fit in that story? Because I want to be inspired by that story, or I want my story to inspire. And sometimes it's a private conversation like, bro, you good. You got everything. Cherish that. Because I didn't. Yeah. And keep going. Like, don't let that. But the world, the way it works is like, who gets the big movies? I just said Pursuit of Happiness. That was about a man who lost everything and fought to get back. But it wasn't about the folks in that office who gave him the opportunity, because they were fine. Like
that's the truth though. It make it seem like once you make it, that's the end. Like that's the end of the story, and nobody needs to pay attention from that point on. It's like once you get prosperity, there's nothing else to achieve. I remember having a conversation. This shit gonna go on and on.
It is.
If y'all want to wrap this and then continue the conversation, we can do that. Sorry for people who listening who may not get to hear it all, but I just got a lot that I can say about this.
I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna bring it full circle. So I was thinking about this earlier. So, based off of what you said, what you were saying, Greg, was like people. Damn, I'm trying to make sure I got it so I can wrap this in a pretty bow and end this on a sweet note. Okay, this is how I say it. Legendary mindsets. Like people die. Everybody's gonna die. And like we said, the stories that people had to overcome so much to get to the top of the mountain. Now the thing is, how do you build upon that mountain? And that's your legacy. That's the people. How do you make your name be remembered for generations upon generations upon generations? Like it's 2021, and in 1968, Martin Luther King died because of something he stood for, something he believed in. But his legend, his name still rings bells. He's still so important. You look at DMX, and I use DMX because of, his recent death and how big of an artist he was. His name is going to be remembered in time forever because of the things that he had to overcome, but it does not stop there. So the next generation of DMX, his children or his children's children are able to eat, and that's the story. They're able to eat off of what he did, or how he bust his ass and what he came from. They don't have to live the same life that he lived. Now they can build whatever life they want to live based off of what he built for them. And that's the second part of the story. It doesn't have to stop with that one.
Yeah,
that's why I feel like
the problem with that is like that's the boring sequel.
Right.
Don't nobody want to be the boring sequel. Everybody want to be like the action-packed beginning. They want to be the DMX. They don't want to be the person that came after DMX who carried on his legacy, because it's still his. It ain't yours now.
Right. But it becomes like that's the thing. It's like you try to learn. Like I always tell people, like when I talk about my dad and my granddad, I be like, I should have been a mechanic because my granddad was a mechanic, but my dad was a better mechanic. But my dad didn't show me the beautiful side of being a mechanic. And that's where That's why it stopped. Because you think about it, my granddad was born in 1936 or 37, right? So 20 years from there, that's 57. So in 1957, the cars, let's say, he was a mechanic at 20. The cars that were made were completely different from the cars that was made in 1981 or 82. That's when my dad was 20. The cars that were made in, when did I turn 20? In 2007, completely different from a 1981. You know what I'm saying? So the technology was even different.
Yeah.
So it's hey, they build, because they had their own shop. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They build this shop. One thing that I found out about my dad and my granddad's shop, they rented this shop until they lost it, until, they had to close the business. So the thing that I bring into it, well, I'm gonna buy a shop. I'm gonna open up a shop. I'm gonna buy the building. Now I own it. You know what I'm saying? They owned the business, but they didn't own the place where they worked out of. Mm-hmm. They were great mechanics, but it was just them. Let me employ some other mechanics. Let me do this. Let me open the school. So there's my legacy. You know what I'm saying? I still could have did all this stuff, but I never found the beauty in being a mechanic. Only thing I saw was my dad come home, he's dirty, and all of his demons that he had to deal with. So I never was able to see the beauty. And that's the thing when it comes to your legacy. Show the beauty in what you do. Show your children why you do the things you do and why you like it or why you love it. That's why it's so important that you do things that you love, because then you can build a legacy and they can build a legacy based off of what they've been shown. And so that's how I want to end this thing, man. That's my full circle on this thing, man. We're going to have to definitely continue this conversation because it's so many places I want to go with it, man. Once again, I'm going to just leave it right there. Do you guys want to say anything before I end this thing?
Go ahead.
Okay. So once again, thank you guys.
I was going to say something.
Oh, go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry. I'm finna end this thing.
Gracious, man.
Go ahead, Steve.
What in the world just happened there?
I don't know.
That's why I try to remind folks, and I've told G this, I've told you this, I've told a lot of people this. The journey is way more important than the story. Mm-hmm. Not the story, but the journey is way more important than the beginning and the end. Mm-hmm. Because if all you see at the end is the shiny things and all you see at the beginning is ground zero, but you don't know how anybody got there or how they changed, then you'll never see the beauty in mechanicking. Yeah. But that story in between there is what is going to is the most important part, because that is where everything really happens. Mm-hmm. That is where the beauty is shown. That is where the change comes in. And when we get to the beginning and we get to the end, we always got to learn to celebrate those wins. Mm-hmm. Continue to celebrate these people while they're still there, because just like G said, the story doesn't end. A new story begins. Yeah. Hey, it might not be as grimy and gruesome as the first one, but there's beauty in the new story as well. Just follow it, because you never know where it's going to go or how big someone's going to be or what else that person has to give to this world or to the people in it. So, I know all the sex, lies, and drugs and all that sells, but there is more to the story. So hopefully at some point, I hope everyone gets that point and just kind of look at the journey.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Y'all niggas is wrapping shit up like fucking kings, bro. I'm over here like, damn, these folks over here speaking, bro. I really do agree. I do agree with what you just said, Steve, and you too, Tommy. Like, And maybe that's the next level is just showing that beauty. I like what you touched on, Tommy, when you said you never got to see the beauty of a mechanic or like being a mechanic. It's just like, that's the next level. Like you said, is showing how the next level is beautiful. And like, we have to, as people, we got to do a better job of like, once we get past like the rise in action of the story of the legacy, like still paying attention to the quote unquote boring parts. Like the parts where it starts to get boring, it's like, it's still a story and you might be missing some shit. And that's why we keep getting, like y'all said, those suburban people who reaching back into poverty all the time for like a spark. Like people always reaching back to that because it's the origin. Like, well, that's where they got the energy, so we got to go back to the source. It's like, it's some energy in that next step too. You just got to pay attention to that as well. You got to look in there and be like, damn, what's making this person continue even after they've gotten to a place where they feel better?
Yeah. So, there it is. Well, thank you guys for listening to another episode of Speaker Geekers podcast. If you haven't already, please go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also follow us on Instagram at Speaker Geekers podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at I am Tommy T the third. You got Steve at the great Steve O Steve, and you got Greg at instantly_G. Also subscribe to us on all platforms where you stream podcasts, the audio from. Dog. Great discussion, guys. This one is definitely we're probably gonna continue the conversation somewhere. So I look forward to this conversation. Also, Mother's Milk is coming out soon. I think we're gonna have them on next week. So that should be a lot of fun. This new podcast that 3Amp is actually producing for Artika and Crystal. So you guys will get to meet them next week as well. So that's all I got, man. You guys got anything else to say?
I think we said it.
Well, there it is, man. I'm out. Peace.
Peace out.